Okay. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to all my students at MEC 101. Okay. Okay. From our previous class, we have learned about how to solve the problems in engineering problems. This is chapter 3, still in the chapter 3. Okay, and now we are going to continue with our 3.2 problem presentation and organization. Okay, this is your notes, so you can read it by your own and try to study using your notes and by watching my videos. Okay, so for the problem presentation, we should have 6 points or criteria here that you have to take into the consideration during your problem presentation. Okay, the first one is you have the problem statement. If you do not have the statement here, so it means that you do not have the problem and you don't have to solve the problem at the first place, right? So first of all, you must detect or determine what is the problem is. Okay, so you put the problem into a problem statement. Okay, the second one, in engineering, the diagram is a must because diagram helps you a lot in understanding the problem and also try to use the diagram in solving the problem. Okay, the third one, after you have the problem statement and diagram, you also have to put the theories into your step. Okay, because the theories must be obtained or referred from the others research or findings that the past researchers and the scientists have found. Okay, so let's say you want to design a house. So to design a house, you have to put a lot of theory into them, right? So the theory can be obtained from the journals, books, newspapers, maybe websites, and the important thing is the priority one is the journals lah, because the journals is the most certified findings or certified source for you to be referred. Okay, and then you have to assume. So let's say in designing a house, you have to assume the house, where is the location of the house, and how many people's in the house, how big the house is, and so on lah. Okay, that's why the assumptions is also very important in the problem presentation, because we have a lot of variation in real life. So to make your calculation or problem solving process becomes easier, you have to make a standard to that every factors. So that is the assumption process. Okay, so the fifth one, after you have the assumptions, theory, diagram, and problem statement, you have to do your solutions. Okay, and finally, after you have the results or solution, you must verify the results. Okay, this all the details for every criteria. Okay, let's go to the example. Okay, let's say in this example, we have to calculate the mass necessary to balance the beam shown. Okay, don't worry, you do not have to calculate this because this is just the example of the solution. But you have to memorize. Okay, the first one is your problem statement. The question itself is the problem statement here, because you have to find the value to balance this mass in the beam shown. Okay, and then you sketch. Sketch is the diagram itself, because after you sketch, you can put a lot of information in the diagram, and that information can be used during your calculations. If you do not sketch here, you will miss some of the essential or important information regarding to the problem. So that's why we have to sketch. In the real life, you have to put a sketch drawing. Like let's say if you want to design a house, okay, I change the house. If you want to design a car, so you must sketch first. Okay, how long is the car, how it shapes, and so on and so on lah. So that's why in designing a car, they have a first what we call illustrator, or the draft design. So from that design, our draft design, they use as a diagram to go more on the deeper design process, such as you have to calculate the power needed to move the car. That's the engine department. And the structure itself, you have to know the weight of the steel, what type of the steel you want to use, because every steel have their own properties, their own structures properties. And that's the what we call, that's the work for the structure engineer in car. Okay, and all the others department. Okay, so that's they divide the responsibilities in designing a car into a very in a different departments. And let's say if you want to design a platform of the car, so that's where you put the theory there. Okay, so every problem will have a theory. If you do not have a theory in solving that problem, so you cannot do the solutions. Okay, let's go back to this our example of problem. Okay, for this one, the theory is they put the summation of moment, m here means for moments. Don't worry, you will not learn this in this class. I think this is in the subject MEC101 static in the next semester 2. Okay, okay, so the theory here, the what we call the moment balance, the equilibrium of moment. Here we call it static equilibrium. So the total moment in this system will become 0. So if you do not put this theory, so you will be stuck and cannot solve this problem. Okay, and for the assumption, we have to put the assumption that the mass of the beam is negligible. But the people who solve this problem knows that the beam also will affect the balance, because in beam here they have mass, so here a different length compared to this side, so it will also affect the static equilibrium in this system. But if the value is not given, the mass of the beam is not given, so the assumption is made. The assumption is that the beam is negligible. The mass of the beam is negligible, so you do not put the mass beam mass into the consideration. Okay, and finally, and then after we have all those informations, we can start our solution step. So here they calculate based on the theory that summation of moment will be 0. Okay, so finally they have the answer here. Okay, so if they want to verify here, identify results and verify accuracy, okay, it says that requires that the answer be examined to determine if it is realistic, so check solution accuracy, and if possible verify the results. Okay, that's when you have to use your logical sense or common sense. Let's say this is 8 kg. It doesn't make sense because the mass is F here is 40 kg. Okay, right? Okay. This process of verification is also can be used using the computer simulation. If our in the real life lah, okay, we can use the computer to simulate. If the results from the simulations from the computer is not too far from our results here, so we can conclude that the result is right. Okay. Okay, that's how we do the verification. Okay, and you also can see the example of problem solution here, how they calculate the results by using the problem statement, theory, assumption, and the solutions. Actually, this is the normal procedures or normal steps that you use during your school's learning, right? During your SPM examination in physics, chemistry, mathematics, additional mathematics, all are normally using these steps. Okay, so that's all for the problem presentations. Let's go back to our first slide here. So there are 6 steps. First, you have to put the problem statement, diagram, theory, assumptions, your solutions, calculations, and finally you have to identify the results and verify the accuracy. Okay, that's all for the problem presentation problem. Okay, now we go to the laboratory report writing. Okay, this one I want to go more details because this is one of the important things in engineering or any scientific work or role. Okay. Okay, general suggestions. First, you have also, for sure you have a neat report. You should ensure that all the sentences are grammatically correct and that there are no mistakes in spelling. Now we have spell check and grammar check in our Microsoft Words and other words processing software. So it's become easier. You can do the grammatical check, and then you can prevent the grammatical error in your report. Okay, and then organize your data in a data table. Carry units in all calculations. Okay, units. I found that many students, especially your seniors lah, I hope you do not have the problems with the units. Okay, a lot of students have a problem with units conversions. They are not good enough in converting one unit to another unit. Okay, so I hope all of you use this time during our MEC 101, learn how to convert units. Actually, this units conversion have already learned in Form 4 tingkatan 4. Form 4 in physics, right? So I expect all of you have a good skills in unit conversions. Okay, so now we go to the first criteria in our lab report. The first one is cover page lah. Okay, the cover page must be at the first page of your lab report. Sometimes they have a standard format. Depends on the report that you are going to submit. Let's say in your ATM, you are going to have the report based course such as MEC 291 and MEC 294, and then the subject itself have a standards cover page, so you just follow that standard. Okay, as example, I show you this is the cover page for MEC 291 from this is the report done by your seniors in the last semester. Okay, so this is the standards that MEC 291 provide to the students, but it's not necessarily be like this. Okay, it may be in the other form of cover page. Okay, but usually in the cover page, the information that should be in there is the name of the experiments. Okay, your instructor's name. Let's say in your MEC 291, your instructor's name is me as a lecturer, so you put my name as your instructor's, and your name and student ID. This is let's say in our MEC 294, so they put their name and their student ID, the date, and the lab was performed. Here we have the date here. Okay, and the lab due date or submitted. Okay, sometimes we put the submission date here to make sure you fulfill the submission date. Okay, so that's for the cover page. Let's continue with the title. Okay, title is simple, just put the title. Let's say in this experiment, the title itself is the Marset boiler experiments. Okay, simple as that. And the objective, okay, the objective is the reason you are doing the experiments. This is kind of the problem statements when you do the problem solutions. Okay, but in the laboratory or experiment, you have to put objective. What is your objective in these experiments? If you do not have the objective, so you are doing the experiment without any purpose. Okay, tanpa faedah, tanpa apa-apa lah. So the objective is kind of the one of the important things that you have to determine, you have to know. So you know at the end of the experiments, you know this objective must be achieved. Okay, before you write the objective, you need to know why you are doing the experiments, and the objective should be stated clearly in your own words. Okay, so let's see our example here. Okay, the objective for this experiment is simple. It is to determine the relationship between steam temperature and steam pressure. Okay, just have to know the relationship between steam temperature and steam pressure. Okay, so this is MEC 291. You don't have to worry. You are going to take this course during your 4th semester after you have learned about the fluid mechanics and thermodynamics. So without any information or knowledge about this subject, you cannot do these experiments. Okay, that's why the experiments is the complement course to our core subjects. Okay, let's go back to the equipment. Okay, this section contains a list of the equipment that you use to perform the experiments. When possible, draw a diagram to illustrate the apparatus, give the make and model. Number of the equipments where possible. So sometimes there are equipment, sometimes there are solutions, sometimes there are materials. All of those you have to list what have you used during your experiments. Okay, let's say we see this example. Oh, he missed the equipment part. Okay, because the format for these reports put the apparatus in the same section as the procedures. So we see the procedures here. Okay, they didn't draw any equipments or put any diagrams of the equipments. Okay, this is one of the mistake they did during their lab report writing. Okay, never mind. You should put your equipment, list of the equipments, and also you can put the diagram of the equipment itself. Okay, and then the procedure. Okay, this section includes a description of what you did. You do not report any results in this section. Explain why you did clearly enough for other people to follow your direction to repeat the experiments. A step-by-step format is the best approach. Okay, let's say I put example here. I want you to measure the length of the house width. Okay, so this is the procedure in the laboratory sheet, procedure sheet, but in your, okay, I put here lab sheet, laboratory sheet. But during your lab report writing, you have to change this sentence into the passive sentence like this. Okay, this is your lab report procedures. Okay, so you cannot copy paste the sentence in the lab sheets. You have to convert the sentence here to be in this kind form of sentence. It means that the procedures is already done, has been done by you. So that's why I changed this sentence into the length of house width is measured, or maybe you can put has been measured like that. Okay, so let's see your senior's example here. Okay, the benchtop unit is prepared. The bottom, the button unit, the master switch has been switched on. But here they have a grammatical error. Okay, so make sure you try to do your procedures without any grammatical and spelling errors. Okay, so this type of sentence that you must use in the procedures in the report writing. Okay, you have changed that sentence into the passive one. Okay, results and calculation. Okay, this section is where measurement taken during the experiment are reported. Okay, data should be reported in a clear and organized way, maybe in the form of pie chart, diagram, or graph. Okay, calculation based on the data are presented in this section. You need to report all the calculations that you did. You need to provide the formulas used to compute your results and put your sample calculations. Okay, let's see example. Okay, they put the data that they obtained from the experiment into this table form. Okay, here is the gauge pressure bar, and this is the absolute pressure bar in bar, the value that they obtained or they got from the experiment. And this is the experimental steam temperature also obtained from the experiment, and then here steam temperature from the saturated steam table means that this is the theoretical value that they obtain from the books, textbooks. Okay, so this is the standard table that already provided by the MEC 2994 course. If they do not provide, so you have to do your own table. You have to think that when you are doing the table, when you are doing the data to tabulate in a table, you have to think to create a functional or easier table to read, to understand, because you have to think that this report is not for you. This report is for the other readers. They want to read your reports to understand what have you done in this experiment. So make sure they understand your data, they understand your results. Make it simpler and easier for them to understand. Okay, and then this is the sample calculations that your seniors have done. So from here, the others readers who will read their report will understand how to calculate, so they can do the recalculations. Okay, this is the graph they have done in Microsoft Excel, I think. Okay, the graph itself is the important things for the reader to know that the relationship between the experimental steam temperature and the absolute pressure is kind of a proportional relationship. Okay, from this graph we know that by increasing the value of the pressure here, we also increase the experimental steam temperature. Okay, so this graph is showing that the objective to determine the relationship is achieved.
I can understand, sir.
Okay, so now we go to the discussion part here. Okay, discussion is, for me, is the most important in the lab report. Okay, let's see our MEC 294 mark scheme here. You see the discussion part is the most highest marks. It means that the discussion itself shows a very important information in our experiment laboratory report. Okay, so try to read first. This section provides a discussion of whether or not you feel the errors are reasonable. Okay, it is the most important part of your report, because here you show that you understand the experiment beyond the simple level of completing it. Okay, it in the red font here, explain, analyze, interpret. Okay, some students did their experiments, just follow their procedures and get the data, and that's it. They do not have the understanding of the fundamental behind the experiment itself. They just do, literally do without thinking. Okay, that's not the analyze or interpretation parts. Okay, because during the research, or experiments or whatever you are doing in the engineering problems, you have to put all the ideas, all of your analysis, all of your interpretation of that experiments in these discussions. Okay, if you have brothers or sisters that graduated in engineering or any science program, you may know that they have the thesis, final year project. Okay, so you may ask them what they put in their discussion part in the thesis during your final year project or master project or PhD project or PhD thesis. Okay, because this is the most important part, that you put everything you understand in your studies, in your experiments. Okay, let's see what is the analysis, what is the interpretation. The analysis, what do the results indicate clearly? Okay, what have you found? Explain what you know with certainty based on your results. Interpretation, what is the significance of the results? Okay, I have the results, but I do not know what is the significance of the results. Okay, so what the question might we raise from our results? Find the logical explanation for problems in the data. Okay, I have here. This is kind of the example in the discussion from the Baylor edu. Okay, kind of long part of discussions, because from this, okay, let's say in part 1, a spring was hung vertically with mesh hanger attached to the lower end of the spring, and meshes from 1 gram to 140 gram were added. Okay, this is just a kind of the introduction to your introduction to your discussion part. What have you done? Okay, and then explanation of the physics principle used in this experiment. So you put from your theory section there, put some of that important information in this discussion here. Okay, using the Hooke's law. So this is the theory, and then how the results demonstrated a physics principle here. Okay, also about the theory, and then it says that only the important results is provided, not a list of each and every number of the data sheet. Note that final numerical value includes an estimate of uncertainty. Okay, so in the discussion, you just only put the most important results, the final results, the results that show, that prove your objective. Okay, so in this case, they put the average spring constant is 294 plus minus 0.01. Okay, plus minus means this is the errors or uncertainty. Okay, you do not put again or copy paste again your results in the your data in the results. No, if the reader want to find that value, they will refer to the results result section. But here the reader want to know what is the explanation by you. You have done the experiment, so the reader want to know what you have thinking from what are your thoughts, what are your explanations in the discussion here. Okay, so this kind example is one of the good discussion. Okay, let's see our senior discussion. Okay, in this experiment, the objective of the experiment is to determine the relationship between steam temperature and the steam pressure. Okay, so this is the introduction for their discussion. They put again their objective. Yes, it is correct. Okay, and then they say the steam pressure of this experiment is absolute pressure, which is any pressure measured above absolute zero of pressure. So the absolute pressure is equal to gauge pressure plus the atmospheric pressure. Okay, this one try to explain a little bit the theory behind the atmospheric pressure and also the absolute pressure. Okay, besides the steam temperature of this experiment are experimental steam temperature. Okay, this is the value that they found in the experiment, and the steam temperature from the saturated steam table. Okay, this is the value that they compare or they verify their experimental results here with the theoretical results. Okay, the results of the experimental steam temperature. Okay, okay, this one is the grammatical error. Never mind, make sure you do not repeat their mistakes in your future. Okay, are obtained from the Marset boiler device, while the results of the steam temperature from the saturated steam table are the actual result. Or kind of the confusing sentence. Okay, never mind. So at the end, they shows that the results for the experiment and from the theoretical value in the book steam table are slightly the same. Okay, grammatical error compared to each other. Okay, so the relationship between steam temperature and steam pressure will be, if steam pressure increase, the steam temperature will increase too. So this is the relationship that they found from their results. So this is correct. But they have flaws in these discussions. They do not put the value, the percentage, the difference percentage between the experimental results and also the theoretical results. So from there, when you have the errors, when you have the percentage error, so you can discuss a little bit about why the errors occur in the experiment. Okay, so this discussion is not a very good discussion, but it so-so, just a so-so lah. Bolehlah boleh bagi markah so-so juga. Okay, so yeah, they did a mistake again. References should be after the conclusions. So these do not follow the sequence, the standard sequence of the lab report. After the discussion should be the conclusion first, and then after the conclusion will be the references. Their references also do not follow the standard of the reference format. Okay. Okay, let's see their conclusion. Okay, what is the conclusion first? Computer hang. Okay, the conclusions. Conclusion can be very short. Be sure to go back and reread your objective before writing your conclusions. This section should be concise and to the point. Your conclusion should be tied to the objective. What's the objective of this for the experiment met? Have you met your objective? Have you achieved your objective? If not, okay, try to explain why you cannot meet the objective. Okay, state whether or not you achieve your objective here. Okay, let's see the example here. Marset boiler is the device which used to study the okay, this is the kind of revision. Okay, recall back to the introduction of the experiments. Okay, from the experiment, it is found from the graph and calculations. Temperature of saturated steam is directly proportional to the pressure in the equilibrium with the water. When the temperature of steam increase, the pressure will also increase. Okay, so this sentence, the writers here this author here try to explain that the relationship between the steam pressure and the steam temperature. What is the relationship? So it says that the relationship is directly proportional to the pressure. Okay, so this is what they call the objective proof. Okay, they try to tell that they achieve the objective. Okay, the results obtained from the experimenter only have a small difference. Okay, the results obtained from the experiment only have a small difference compared to the steam temperature. Okay, grammatical error, but I understand what they are trying to tell, that they have a small difference percentage of errors. So they try to tell that they have achieved the objective and also have a successful experiments. Okay, so that's an example of laboratory reports. This example of report is not very perfect. There are a lot of flaws and a lot of grammatical and spelling errors, but still they try to follow the standards of laboratory reports. So that's all for our laboratory report guidelines. So I think that's all for this video. In the next video, I will go to the computer solutions, because this subchapters of computer solutions is very different compared to our technical laboratory report writing here. Okay, so that's all for today. I put a little question in the task in the Google Classroom. After this, you must to answer that question, just a multiple choice questions, just easy and simple. Make sure you do that task. I will give you about 1 week to complete that task, and also don't forget to submit the attendance after you watch this video. Okay, until the next video, take care yourself, kita jaga kita, and Assalamualaikum and good evening. Okay, bye bye.